is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right?
Very.
So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Big Ten champions.
National champions, yes. The Ducks take home an indoor national title.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
It's a Friday inside the Country Financial Studio, and that means it is time for the weekend in Diamond Sports. Both Oregon baseball and Oregon softball going up against Michigan State today and throughout the weekend as Oregon baseball returns to Big Ten play after a 4-0 weekend against Oregon State. It'll be at 3 o'clock local time here in Eugene when first pitch will go off in East Lansing for Oregon against Michigan State. Joey Mack on the road with Oregon baseball. He'll take air at 2:45. For Oregon softball, it's the beginning of their final regular season series at the Jane. 6 o'clock today, where Missy Lombardi's crew, if they win all 3 games this weekend, they will clinch the Big Ten. If they win 2 of 3, they will clinch a share of the Big Ten title. There is business to take care of on senior weekend at the Jane for Oregon softball. A lot of stakes starting at 6 o'clock today at Jane Sanders Stadium. Oregon baseball against Michigan State, Oregon softball against Michigan State, Joey Mack on the road with Oregon baseball. They are about 2 hours away from first pitch, and about 2 hours ago, I was able to catch up with Joey Mack from the road in East Lansing, getting his thoughts on the return to conference play after a really successful week for Oregon baseball, a team that's ranked as high as number 6, depending on which poll you're looking at. My conversation for just a bit ago with Joey Mack. It's always my favorite time getting to see the hotel backdrop of Joey Mack on the road. And Joey, today, curtains drawn. There's a good, nice bed frame in the background. How is East Lansing, Michigan?
It's East Lansing, Michigan, a place that I am familiar with, actually. I was talking to a few people about this, that it's a little bit odd for me. Like, my first full season doing play-by-play for Oregon baseball, Michigan State was at PK Park, and then the following year, the Ducks returned the home-and-home visit, and we only played one game while we were here. It was supposed to be a 3-game series, ended up only playing one game with the way the weather was. But the Ducks had also played on a Thursday on that trip, and I'll never forget that it was like the most scouts I've ever seen, because Thursday baseball games really aren't that common, right, or around college baseball. And it was a Notre Dame team that was pretty good, and so there were just tons of scouts that were there before Oregon played at Michigan State for the one game and the 3 games that we spent here. So it's a little bit of a full circle, like, career moment for me, actually, which I've kind of been laughing about over the last 24 hours as we've been here. But overall, the ballpark does have a couple quirks to it, and it's interesting. I actually went back and found the interview that I did with Coach Horton, because I always used to ask him, similar to you, Ryan, like, hey, what's the ballpark like? How does it play? We've never been here before. And Coach Horton actually said, like, almost the exact same things that Mark Wasikowski did when he was talking about the ballpark today, which was kind of funny. I might actually play them right back to back just to give people an idea. But there's a little bit of a weird berm in right field. It's kind of a shorter porch there, and it's going to be a good series. Jerwa, who gets the ball tonight for Michigan State, he's right up there with Grayson Grinsell for one of the best in the conference. And whoever wins this one tonight may stay in the hunt for Big Ten Pitcher of the Year. If you look at the head-to-head and who wins, certainly this one's going to matter. So overall, though, a chance for Oregon baseball to keep up the winning ways and try to be a little bit more consistent throughout more than just a weekend, carrying momentum from weekend to weekend and even the midweek. Really important, I think, heading into this one.
First off, knocking on wood, hoping to play 3 this weekend against Michigan State. And I haven't listened to the interview you sent me, your pregame with Coach Wazakowski yet, but I can just imagine what he's going to say because I reckon what Coach Horton said about the ballpark a few years back. And you mentioned the pitching matchup going on tonight between Grayson Grinsell and Joseph Zerwa. And so for you, talking about the back end of the season, a potential race for Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, just tell fans about the 2-horse, maybe 3-horse race for Big Ten Pitcher of the Year and how impactful this Friday night start is going to be for Grayson Grinsell, potentially put himself as the front runner for that award.
Well, Grinsell has been, one of the best, if not the best, in the conference. I mean, if you look at just conference games and what he has done, it's pretty remarkable. It's a 1.84 earned run average for him now. And to put that in perspective, though, Jason Wright's actually in conference games has a slightly better earned run average than the Michigan State starter tonight. So, in just conference games, it's really been Grayson Grinsell. He has been just outstanding. And then in conference games, he's actually now he's now third in the conference in strikeouts in conference games. He had been in second behind Cade Obermuller from Iowa, who I think is at this point the other guy who's kind of in the hunt. But another Iowa pitcher actually got Grayson by 1 when he pitched later in last weekend. So still, though, you're third in the Big Ten in strikeouts in conference games. You're first in earned run average. And, maybe the most important thing is how many wins does Grayson Grinsell have in these conference games? He doesn't have any losses, and he's credited for 5 wins in his 7 starts in conference action. So, look, all the numbers tell you that in conference games, he has been probably the best pitcher. And you start thinking about, the overall numbers versus the conference numbers, and that's where the argument can get a little bit more, I guess, interesting. I may start with overall numbers, then look at conference numbers to see if it was a sway one way or the other. And Grinsell's been better against conference competition. You'd think better against better competition once you're into Big Ten conference play. So I think that this game does mean a lot, not just because it's against another guy who's got a sub 3 ERA overall on the season, but maybe simply because it's just another game that Grayson Grinsell can add to his resume. So he has pitched really well. I don't know that there's anyone in the country that you would want to give the ball to right now more than Grayson Grinsell. And that's a heck of a compliment. I mean, you look at these career leaderboards that he's on now, like, hey, so Ryan, inside the broadcast, there's a new page in the game notes today. The game notes had to add a new page that's all about pitching career records.
Just for Grayson Grinsell?
Yeah, that's because of Grayson Grinsell. And so, what he's done, this is just another opportunity for him to continue to rewrite that record book. And to put that in perspective for fans, like the guys that he's on that career list with for wins and strikeouts and ERA and, everything, it's all guys that are All-Americans, first-round draft picks, a couple that are pitching in the big leagues currently. It's a big deal.
That matchup that we're talking about, Grayson Grinsell versus Joseph Zerwa, potential Big Ten Pitcher of the Year on the line. It is tonight, 3:05 Pacific time, 2:45 pregame is when Joey will have the call. And I was talking with Coach Hawksworth before the season about what his key is for Grayson Grinsell to continue to excel throughout the course of the season, the step that he wanted Grayson Grinsell to take, and it was going deeper into outings. Last year he had 1 outing of 7+ innings. It was his last outing of the year. In back-to-back starts, he threw 9 innings against UCLA, and then he threw 7 innings against Oregon State. Grayson Grinsell's starting to become not only someone who can go through strong innings, but long outings as well, go deep, and that's been a big key to his season.
Well, it has been, and in fact, he's actually the conference leader in innings pitched. He's thrown 66 2/3, which is the most in the conference among all games. He's gone the distance once, and in just conference games, he's third in innings pitched. So to give you an idea of going deeper into outings, yeah, I mean, that has been a huge deal, and especially because, I mean, look, you look at what the bullpen has done the last week. The Ducks really spotted the bullpen in the right way. I mean, you talk Coach Hawksworth and Coach Wazakowski, and Oregon did a really nice job out of the bullpen against the Beavers the last 4 games. But certainly there were a couple times earlier in the season where that didn't go their way. And so it was even more paramount to go the distance or to go deep into ball games. And boy, Grayson Grinsel's done that. And, how many times have we all heard a college baseball coach say, hey, you really need a good establishing start on a Friday. 1, it saves the bullpen. 2, it sets the tone. All the different cliches that we talk about. Well, Grayson Grinsel's lived up to every single one of those cliches going deep into ball games. And, you think about even this weekend, right? The Ducks do play 2 midweek games on the back end of this series. Pitching staff's not going to think about that. Coaching staff's not going to think about that. Win the first game. That's today. Then you win Saturday. Then you win Sunday. Then you figure out what to do on Tuesday and Wednesday. But the truth is that those deeper outings from starters simply help because it does save your bullpen and keep things fresh for whatever the next game may be.
The next game is tonight. Joey Mack talking about Oregon versus Michigan State. It's Grayson Grinsel versus Joseph Jerwa on the mound. 2 potential candidates for Big Ten Pitcher of the Year. This result, what happens tonight, it's going to mean a lot coming down for conference honors at the end of the year. That's part 1 of the conversation with Joey Mack. Getting to part 2 when we return after this timeout on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
The Ducks on the diamond are going up against Michigan State tonight, whether it be Oregon softball at the Jane at 6 o'clock or Oregon baseball on the road in East Lansing at 3 o'clock. It's Oregon versus Michigan State on the diamond. Earlier today, I talked with Joey Mack previewing the baseball matchup against the Spartans, part 2 of the conversation with Joey Mack. And talking about the bullpen, it was a strong stable in the bullpen for Oregon over the weekend against Oregon State. Across the 4 games, the 4 wins for Oregon, bullpen went 16 innings. Only 2 runs came in off of Oregon's bullpen. That has been certainly an increase in production from what we've seen earlier throughout conference play. Just what have you seen in the utilization of the bullpen by Coach Hawksworth, Coach Wadzikowski? What do you think has been the key to the bullpen having such a stellar weekend last weekend?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. One, I think it's matchups, that they've seemed to have settled into a little bit of confidence in some matchups. And maybe the biggest indicating factor of that is Cole Stokes. I mean, he pitches against 2 guys across 2 games over the weekend, and then he has just shut down stuff. And it's the first time in a while that we've seen Cole Stokes pitch in an inning and then come back out for the next inning. We saw that on Tuesday. And, so you talk about like play the matchup, get some confidence. Now you got confidence to bring Cole Stokes back out there on Tuesday like the Ducks did. So I think that's one part of it. I also think that there's a lot of good arms in the bullpen, and now we're starting to see that realized a little bit. And that's a confidence thing, certainly, but it's also just the ebbs and flows of baseball. I think that Oregon has found a rhythm to the bullpen now too, and the Ducks like what they've seen. But there's a lot of things, we'll see if it continues, right? I mean, Mark Wasikowski always says, right, like, you're only as good as your next starting pitcher. Sometimes you're only as good as the next pitcher, regardless of if it's in the next game. You're only as good as your next pitcher coming out of the bullpen. And, that's just the pressure that's on that position. I think that it is a chance, though, this weekend to really put that conversation to bed. I mean, think about it. Like, people like you and me that are following the team, that are around the team, like, if you get a consistent weekend here again, after what they did to the Beavers, going 4-0 against a top 10 opponent, all right, now there's some real confidence down the stretch. Because here we are in the month of May, right, Ryan? Like, we're in May now. The stretch run is here. We talk about it. The stretch run is officially here as the Ducks are looking for a Big Ten championship.
You talk about going 4-0 over the weekend against Oregon State. I haven't had the chance to talk to you since Tuesday because your team left so early in the morning on Wednesday. So first off, congratulations. Way to get the job done up in Corvallis. Way to get the win. Also, I think congratulations should go to Jacob Walsh because he had one heck of a weekend against Oregon State. He hit a home run in all 4 of the games. His weekend stats against the Beavers, he was 5 for 12, 7 RBI. He walked 4 times. He was hit by 2 pitches. He stole 2 bases. And he hit those 4 home runs. Just to get Jacob Walsh, who has taken a big increase in his average this season, now with the power stroke that we've been so accustomed to seeing from him over the last 4 years. What does it mean for him to get going the way that he is right now down this stretch run of the season?
Ducks probably don't win all 4 games without Jacob Walsh, so that just tells you how nice it was that he decided to come back to Oregon for his senior season. I mean, there's a reason that he's atop that career leaderboard for home runs, and the 4 straight games with a home run is one thing, but I think you said the key there a minute ago that his average is about 100 points higher this year than it was last year. And that just tells you the growth in his plate discipline, his approach. And I think having another year of confidence in college certainly helps. But, man, it's amazing to see how fast he can change a game. And you brought up the stolen bases, Ryan. I thought that Oregon's offense this last 4 games, we talk so much about the home run. We talk about the long ball and how Oregon seems to reset the program record for home runs every season now under Mark Wasikowski. The last 5 seasons have been the 5 best seasons ever in terms of hitting the long ball as an entire Ducks team. Well, the stolen base, Ryan Cooney swiped some bags. Jacob Walsh stole 2. The Ducks ran the bases really well against UCLA and Oregon State. They had some timing figured out. And I think that Oregon's varied offense against the Beavers, that's what I took away from it. And Jacob Walsh was a big part of that, right? Gets hit by 2 pitches, works his way on base. Sure, he can change the complexion of a game with 1 swing. But the ability that this team now has demonstrated to score in a variety of ways. Ansoneros lays down a successful bunt, for example, at one point in this weekend and season series now against the Beavs. Like, when you can do that, when you can steal bases, you can get guys into scoring position. Man, now we're really starting to talk about, as Mark Wasikowski says all the time, running an offense. Now we're talking about running an offense. Sure, the home run is a huge deal, makes a difference. You can win a lot of games with the long ball. The runs per swing, right? That's what you want with the home run ball. But also when you get guys over and you put together those plus at bats, I just thought Oregon demonstrated a varied offense against Oregon State. And that's how you can stay consistent on offense, right? The ball's not always going to go over the fence. And you're not always going to get line drives up the middle. Sometimes you're going to get bloop singles, and then you're going to steal second, then you're going to execute a good bunt, and then you're going to score on a sacrifice fly. I mean, I think that Oregon demonstrated a really varied offense. They can score runs in a lot of ways, this Ducks team can. So if that keeps up, they're hard to beat because it's not just one aspect of the offense that you have to take away.
And Joey, I think if I would have asked you when Jacob Walsh came back for his senior season, if he were to have a straight steal of third base to put him on third with one out in a game against Oregon State, would you have had that on your bingo card?
Oh, well, I'll put it this way. Nothing that Jacob Walsh does anymore surprises me. And to be honest with you, like, I don't know that he gets enough credit for how good of a first baseman he is. I mean, he cleans up so many throws at first base. Like, I think that he has really become a well-rounded player. Like, we talk about the average, we talk about, everything about him. Like, would that have been on my bingo card though? I don't know. I don't know. But the truth is that he has, I think, upped his draft stock. And that's what the goal was for him coming back.
When you talk about,
and I think he's done that in a variety of ways.
You talk about rounding out the tools, defensively, offensively hitting for a better average. He's got the power, certainly. Adding the stolen bases, starting to round out his tools pretty darn well. Joey, in about an hour, you're getting on the air for the pregame for this first game against Michigan State. What else should fans know before we get rocking and rolling and start Big Ten play once again?
Well, it's a real chance to put together some more consistency, right? I mean, that's what the Ducks have been searching for. They've put 4 good games together now. They've been consistent. I think that's the opportunity that's in front of them. And again, you talk about the stretch run. Well, here it is, right? It's a resume building opportunity on the road. Always difficult to go on the road and win. I think that ultimately this is an Oregon team that on paper should win these games. And that's a difficult thing too, right? Handling that expectation, that's a difficult thing too. So overall, another chance to build the resume and maybe spend a few more games at PK Park after this final homestand next week.
Joey, you did a good job on Tuesday. You are now 1-1 without me. Here's to being 4-1 when I see you again on Tuesday.
I like the way that you're thinking. Yep. Broadcaster sounds good when the team's good. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Joey. Joey Mack joining us. We'll get on air in an hour and 43 minutes for the pregame show from East Lansing, Michigan, about a little under 2 hours away from Game 1 of that series in Big Ten play. Live with us on YouTube, Dave Bowden asks, who is your pick for the Kentucky Derby tomorrow? Last year, Joey picked Mystic Dan. I got to tell you, I am not as adept in the racehorsing scene as I think that Joey Mack is. During that interview, I looked up the names of some of the horses, and I'm a little partial to journalism because I have a journalism degree from the University of Oregon. Granted, I'm not sure if you should take that advice, but in the Oregon Sports Network broadcasting pantheon of Kentucky Derby picks, I guess that is mine, and I thoroughly expect to break the streak that Joey established last year. But I am excited for the Kentucky Derby coming up this weekend. I'm also excited for Monday when Oregon women's golf is going to be out on the course for their NCAA Regional round. Hearing from the head coach, Derek Radley, when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son?
Back on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union, here inside the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano with you. Joey Mack talked with Kiara Romero. We ran that on the show yesterday. Oregon women's golf, they are in prime position as the 1 seed in the regional round of the NCAA tournament for women's golf in Arizona, playing at Superstition Mountain over the next week, starting early on Monday and then playing Tuesday and Wednesday to see if they can advance to get on to the next round of NCAA play. Derek Radley, before the team left to go to Arizona, spoke with the media, reviewed the Big Ten championship that Oregon brought home, also previewing the NCAAs that Oregon is prepared to play in starting early next week. Let's talk with Oregon women's golf head coach Derek Radley.
Coach, obviously, NCAA Regional is right around the corner. Obviously, big win, obviously, in the Big Ten tournament. The golf, just how confident is this team feeling right now coming off of a win like you guys did?
Yeah, I would say we're extremely confident right now. The season has been a record-setting season. I'm really, really proud of our accomplishments. I think they have not only confidence in themselves, but in each other. And, in golf, when we never really pass the ball to each other, that's important to know that you can rely on a teammate that's going to post a good score behind you. So, but we know that, we have a big task at hand ahead of us, and, we still have to go earn it. So really excited for the opportunity to go West Coast, stay, in our same time zone and make an easy flight down to Arizona and see what we can do.
When at the beginning of the season, obviously, this group is just so young. There's so many freshmen. There's so many sophomores. Did you, at the beginning of the season, think that they would be this talented going into it, or did they kind of rise to the occasion? Like, how much have they met the expectations?
As a coach, on paper you hope so, right? But you don't really know how the season's gonna transpire. I think and how their games are gonna hold tight. Golf it's such a long season because we play in the fall and the spring. So just because we have a great September doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna have a good April and May. So yeah, on paper I think it was easy to think that. But nonetheless, we're young. But those 3 freshmen from last year had that opportunity to play in a Final Four, and I think that experience was huge. And then our 2 freshmen, in Subi Chai and Tong An, have played in big tournaments at a young age and know what it's like to play in front of cameras. And so I don't think this is anything new, and just really excited for what's ahead.
Yeah. This was your first year playing in the Big Ten Championship. How was it different? And what did you enjoy about the new experience?
Yeah, well, it was definitely in a different time zone. That's for sure. Baltimore, Maryland was not very close. But, I was really proud of how we traveled. We were fortunate. We had it over 2 days, about a day and a half before the practice round, just to adjust to the East Coast time. the Big Ten, they welcomed us with open arms. So they were great. And, it really felt like a championship style tournament. The signage, the volunteers, Bully Rock did a fantastic job. And, certainly missed the Pac-12 and our friendships that we had. But at the same time, thankful to be a part of the Big Ten.
And what do you feel like the team did well in the Big Ten championship that you hope to carry over into
I think when we get to this point of the year, my stance would be, that we can play a golf course that's going to separate true talent. And championships, you want a golf course that, I think is going to showcase what we can do. I was really proud that I finally felt the final round set up more to us because the wind had changed and we didn't have any drivable par fours. So you really had to hit some good golf shots. And so, for us to come out and separate ourselves, I think we won by 14 shots, was huge. And I thought it was a testament to, our Ducks' hard work that they've put in, but finally it played to the point where I think it really showcased what we could do.
How do you kind of prepare for, the golf course down in Arizona? Is there anything that you guys can look up, especially when you get, again, different environments, different weather, different wind conditions? How do you kind of get prepared for that?
Yeah, I think, once we found out where we're headed, we're very excited to head down to Superstition Mountain. We're playing the Prospector course. It's pretty far out east side of Arizona. So my first thing was, researching the elevation. So it's going to be about 1,900 feet is what it's going to play. We're about 400 feet here in Eugene. And so the ball's going to travel further. And then also it's going to be 20 to 25 degrees warmer, right? So typically the general rule is every 10 degrees is about 1 to 2 yards and every 500 feet is about 1 to 2 yards. So the ball's going to travel far. Thankfully, with our technology here at the Jake, we're able to set our TrackMan to the elevation and temperature that it's going to be. So we're already getting those distances dialed. And then the greens were redone in August of this past fall. So Arizona plays very firm anyways. And I think it's going to play extra firm, with the new greens before they settle in. So I think just adjusting to how far the golf ball is going to go and then how big those first bounces are going to be on the green is going to be our two keys.
Obviously you guys as the one seed in this specific regional, obviously all the expectation, all the pressure now gets put on you guys. Not like, if you're the 8th seed or 9th seed, you're the underdog and you're like, hey, maybe we got nothing to lose. How do you guys kind of take this new level of pressure as the one seed into this and make sure maybe it doesn't overwhelm? Again, it's still a very young group.
I think we're proud and hopefully that one seed gives us confidence, but at the same time, it's a blank slate, right? Any team has the opportunity to make it through in that top 5. And, we talked a lot, the goal is to still go down and win. And I think if we go down and maximize our strategy on the golf course and just do what we do, nothing special. I think just be who we are. I think it'll take care of itself.
I know Arizona's a couple states down, but does it help to be still on the West Coast at all? Be a little bit closer to home?
For sure. Yeah, and I was the assistant coach at Arizona for 6 years. My wife's from Tucson, and so I know desert golf. I know what it's like. I've been to Superstition Mountain before. So hopefully, just providing any knowledge that I can to our Ducks to help them feel comfortable. Thankful we don't have to go super early and adjust to the time zone like we did in Maryland for the Big Ten championship. So, from a rest and energy standpoint, it should be pretty normal.
I haven't talked to you since Onwa. What was that experience like? Obviously, you've been no stranger to having players down there, but Kiara put herself in contention, was right there on Saturday or Sunday. What was that like for you as a coach, and what did you see her take away from that experience?
So I promised Kiara and Hut, who were our two Ducks that played at Anwa that week, that if they were in contention, I would jump on a plane and I would be there for them on Saturday. And so when Kiara was tied for the lead in the final pairing, I called her and said, all right, fine, I'm coming, geez. And so but my oldest, Palmer, he's 9. He had his first Babe Ruth baseball game. So I made it to that. It started at 6 p.m. on Friday night. After that was done, they won. And after that was done, I drove to Portland and jumped on the red eye at 11 p.m., landed in Atlanta at 7 a.m., drove the 2 hours to Augusta, took a quick shower in Kiara's parents' hotel room, and then went right to the course to be there for her. So unbelievable. 20,000 people there for women's amateur golf on that Saturday at Augusta. Really, really special. Was so proud of how she handled herself. She said she had, was pretty nervous on that first tee shot in front of all those people. But an experience I think that now makes the rest of our season probably feel pretty easy. And so I'm really thankful that she had that opportunity. I think she knows what it takes to win there now. And I won't doubt that she'll be back next year.
Can you talk about her growth this season? Because last year, as a freshman, everything was, historical highs for her as a freshman. Then she comes into this season and it feels like, again, like that she somehow took that next step to even further level. What's it been like watching her?
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch Kiara, I think, mature both on and off the golf course. Technically last year she should have been a senior in high school, right? So she was young and, the golf was always there, I think. The rest of it has just been the off the golf course part that I'm really proud of her. She's putting so much time into the weight room now. She knows that that's a value. She's doing great in the classroom. Being a leader, I think, on this team. We joke, we call her Captain Romero. But she's really stepped up into what it means to be a team player. And I'm really proud of her. And look, great players play great when it means the most. And so she had 5 second place finishes coming, up until the Big Ten championship, and she knew that. But the goal was to not change anything and just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm so proud of her and that she was able to get that big win at the Big Ten championship.
Coach, we got one question back here for you.
Okay, yes.
Oh, here we go.
Testing. 1 million, 2 million. How would you able to balance from being such a successful coach, good father, and a great husband?
Great question. Thank you very much for that question. Family is very important to me. And so I am a husband and I'm a dad, very thankful of 3 little ones at home. My wife, Sarah, is amazing. She played professional golf for 8 years and I used to caddy for her and we still got married after that. But our 3 little ones at home are 9, 5, and 3. And I kind of feel like I'm an American dad to all of our ladies on the team too. So they know I'm available 24/7 if they need anything. And hopefully they get a sense of of feeling like they're at home here in Eugene, even though they might be from halfway across the world.
Real quick, Coach, just for a true freshman to go out and shoot 666 in the last round of a Big Ten championship, just what can you say about AT and what she's
Tongue on AT. I'm so proud of the growth that she's made this year. I'm thankful that she's a Duck. To finish 3 birdies on the biggest stage, throwing her arms up in the air, celebrating, AT has been a huge addition to this team. I think not only on the golf course with her amazing skill set, but also just somebody who is very positive, loves everybody on this team, and is there for everybody. And I'm really proud of her.
That's cool stuff from Coach Radley. That second to last question, it was asked by Tong On at the end. And I got to tell you, I think it's the perfect question that one of his athletes can ask after the story that he told about being in Eugene for his son's Babe Ruth baseball game and then flying to take the red eye across the country to Augusta, Georgia to cheer on Kiara Romero the very next day. Man, there's almost no one easier to root for than Coach Radley. It'll be fun rooting for Oregon women's golf on the course in the NCAA Regional round Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week down in Arizona. The Ducks are the 1 seed. That conversation with Coach Radley brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. That'll kick off next week. Kicking off this weekend, Oregon baseball. We talked about that with Joey Mack. Also, senior weekend for Oregon softball in Eugene, getting rocking and rolling tonight. Talking with one of the stars of Missy Lombardi's club when we return after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, your summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, your summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up, it's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I can envision a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, don't forget to say you real.
Back on Duck Insider inside the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano here with you on a Friday, getting ready for Oregon softball at the Jane, coming up at 6 o'clock tonight against Michigan State, and someone who has had a stellar breakout season for Coach Lombardi's club, Kedri Lushar. She has really risen across not only the Big Ten but also the national stage as she's put together one heck of a season. Going into her senior weekend, Kedri Lushar spoke with the media earlier in the week.
Kedri, when you committed to come here and you were kind of envisioning, it wasn't Arizona State, you were making a new move. What did you envision your 4 years, and how has this aligned itself with that vision?
I envision just having fun and playing the sport that I have always loved, and that's really been able to happen for me this year especially. But I mean, throughout all 4 years, I've learned, I've grown, I've gotten stronger mentally, physically. I've grown as a person a lot throughout my 4 years here.
When you committed here back, I believe 2016, correctly? The 2016?
I don't know.
That's pretty early. It was pretty early, but initially when you committed, it was with a completely different group, a completely different head coach. And when Melissa took over the program, I'm just wondering, what were your interactions with her before you initially come here, and what did she initially, kind of sell you on that made you believe that this was still the right spot, even with, a change within the organization several years ago?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can look at the Jane, and I'm pretty sure everybody would want to be a part of this, but just the coaches, they just made it feel like I was going to be safe here and taken care of. And that's exactly what they did. They totally take care of everyone on this team and make everybody feel supported and loved, and that's just sold me right there. I felt like I was home when I was here.
But this year, what do you think the biggest reasons are for the jump in your production last year this year?
I think just my discipline, and just what I was willing to do when I was at home and when I wasn't forced to be at practice, just the things that I did kind of on my own, really.
What were old habits that you maybe broke, and what were new habits that you got into?
Recovery, sleep, eating, nutrition. I cook pretty much all of my meals now, and I know exactly what's in them. I know exactly how they're going to make me feel. And then just working out a lot, getting stronger, and those are all things that I really took upon myself to do on my own time as well.
Did you cook at all before? Can you lean into that a little bit more? How do you pick up cooking?
I actually would not touch beef, chicken with my bare hands until probably summer after my sophomore year. I refused to cook meat. I don't know why. I loved it. I love meat. I'll eat it. But I was like, I am not touching it when it's raw. I'm not cooking it. But yeah, just learning to do that and give my body the nutrition that I need helped a lot. I just feel better every day. I'm not as tired. I'm just ready to go.
So when Kai and you are in the same building, so she's baking all the sweet goods,
Yep.
and you're the chef behind the kitchen and the stove.
Exactly, yep. She kind of is a little slacker, though. She hasn't made any sourdough bread recently. which is a good part of every meal. But yeah, she does all the sweet stuff.
Are you like self-taught as a cook here, and how'd you get over the meat issue?
I don't know. I don't know, but my mom's always cooked. I cook similar to how my mom does, which is just like a protein, a vegetable, and then like a carb. We do a lot of garlic bread with sourdough, and then since Kai makes her sourdough, it's even better and fresher. But yeah, kind of just realizing that I kind of need to do things for myself when I don't have my mom. But
did she like hands-on like help teach you at some point?
No, I kind of just had to do it. I just had to. Yeah.
And what was the impetus for that? I mean, was there a conversation with somebody like, hey, if you want to take the next step, you got to fuel yourself properly?
No, I kind of think I just wanted to do that for myself and just feel better.
Your process of working out on your own, but listening to your body and recognizing like what its needs are. You were talking about nutrition, but rest, recovery, the importance of that. But can you just talk about the evolution of that? That overall process and how it's helped you culminate this year?
Yeah, I think just recovery is huge. We just talked about that this morning with Coach Rowe. And like everybody knows what they need for their bodies. Everybody knows what's hurting the most on them. And if you're doing what you should be doing to recover, and if you're not, and just making it a priority. Because all of that is going to translate to on the field. Everything you do outside of softball is going to be what shows up on the field.
You mentioned being physically stronger, and your slugging percentage shows that you're benefiting from that. Just how much do you think just fueling properly helped you get to the strength levels that you're taking advantage of this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the change of food that I ate, like it just gave me more energy to lift longer, heavier, and then just get stronger, and just played a really big role of my strength for sure.
Did you have a moment maybe when you came back, whether it was 2 years ago or this year, and started making contact with balls and they were just flying a little farther, coming off the bat a little hotter, anything like that?
I think my junior year, yeah, I just kind of felt stronger hitting wise, and even my arm throwing.
Was it was your sophomore, the end of your sophomore year going into your junior year that you really hit the weights, or was it freshman?
Yeah. After my sophomore year was when I kind of made the most changes.
I remember you even kind of got upset. You had a vacation. You were like, I've got to work out. I want to focus on vacation.
No, we made it work.
But is that when you really decided that focusing on working out, getting stronger, you made a concerted effort, or were you always kind of working out before that and just didn't see the gains? Or
Yeah, I mean, food is definitely
20 pounds, right?
ish. Yeah. I think food was the main thing for me. Like I've always worked out in high school and stuff. I've always liked it, but once I started taking what I'm eating seriously and just getting enough and not eating all the junk food, all the added sugars, processed foods, then my body, that's what your body needs. So that's what helped me a lot.
What was the hardest thing you've had to cut out?
I've never been like a really chocolate lover. I don't know. I used to love Dutch Bros in high school, but I haven't been there in years.
Don't mean to switch the topic off food, but just, this group of girls that you've been able to play with this season, you guys are obviously doing something really special this season. When did you realize how kind of special this group was as a whole, and again, just what you guys have been able to achieve so far this season?
Yeah, I think of Mary Nutter, honestly. Just our level of play, I guess, in that sense. At Mary Nutter, after that, I was like, oh yeah, we can beat anybody. We just kind of had to show ourselves that we could. We all knew we were good. We all knew we clicked and that we really liked being with each other, but that was really just a telltale, we can go really far.
And now it's resulted to where you guys are at the end of the regular season coming up this weekend against Michigan State. Has it just started to hit you yet that, things are coming to a close for you? And just, I guess, how much are you looking forward to this weekend, this moment to celebrate with your teammates and, of course, your sister, your family, and to have it all happen right here where you started your collegiate journey?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's hit me quite yet, but here and there I'll be thinking about it and I'm like, oh, darn, it's actually here. But I think just really cherishing each moment this weekend with my sister, my family, my mom and dad, and just them getting to pitch out our first pitches and just watch our little videos and just be with each other and just be super present. And I think as long as we're playing free and having fun, we're all going to have some good memories to end with.
So if it was between sophomore and junior year that you made these big changes, was there any frustration your junior year to not see it kind of provide like immediate dividends the way it obviously has this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's easier to be upset when you know you put the work in. I feel like if I went and said, oh, I should have been starting and playing my freshman year, I'd be lying to whoever I'm saying that to and myself because I didn't put in that work. But it was also just a learning journey. Had never been in college before I got here, so I just didn't understand it, and I needed to grow and mature. And so, yeah, definitely. Like when you know the work that you're putting in, it's easy to get frustrated because you're working for it. But I think just knowing that everybody has their own journey and everybody's time is going to come in different ways, I think that's really important, and just trusting what's meant for you.
When you and your sister were talking to the coaching staff in the off season, kind of looking at what the future is going to be this season, did you guys have in your minds a vision? I mean, did you have an expectation that this is kind of what you were going to get to if things kind of worked out the way you were expecting them?
Yeah, for sure. We both knew what we wanted, and I think that was the biggest part. Is just over the last summer, we just had so many conversations like, this is what we want for our last year and the other seniors last year. It's like, this is how we want it, and we're just able to create that pathway for ourselves, and just this whole team is able to do that for each other.
Yeah, when you're growing up, this is a program that's used to contending for conference championships and hosting postseason, things like that. How hard has it been to try to play a role in getting this program back there, and then how satisfying is it to know that this year you guys have got yourselves back into position to potentially do those things?
Yeah, I think just all of the upperclassmen have really just worked hard to create a good culture. Like I think of Kai and Paige, and they just lead in the best way possible. Like they're very calm and collected, and they just want what's best for people instead of degrading people. Like they are just always uplifting everybody, and I feel like that's just the best way to go. Like when you feel loved, when you're a younger one and you feel loved, I feel like there's nothing that can stop you, really. What's it like playing defense, I'll say specifically? I mean, your entire offense is 1 through 9, almost all about 300. Defensive too. You've got Gold Glove, you've got Kai. I mean, you guys are making plays that are so extraordinary, but because you guys do it so routinely, it's almost expected that you're going to make the impossible possible. I mean, being on SportsCenter top 10 plays, is kind of an expectation now. You're diving plays and running for balls. What's it like playing with a group that's collectively kind of all like that? Yeah, it's awesome. We just talked today too about just like pitchers, you could throw it right down the middle and anybody on defense is going to have your back. I mean, like Paige she'd made some amazing plays over the weekend, and like Kai's diving plays too. She's always working at practice saying like, okay, I need to work on this and this, and then she does it at practice so that it just shows up in the game. And same with everybody out there. We all just take practice like game-like.
What is it like to go into this weekend knowing that, yeah, you guys can win a regular season conference championship at some point this weekend? Just what it's like when that's a reality, that's here. It's not something you're talking about a month out or 2 months out or a goal for the season. Like you could be here in the next 2-3 games. Yeah, very cool feeling. I feel like we're all we've just put in so much hard work that we don't expect anything less. And just a very surreal feeling for all of us and like the seniors too.
Hard work could pay off this weekend at the Jane when Oregon softball faces off against Michigan State starting tonight at 6 o'clock. Previewing the whole weekend when we return after this quick timeout on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
It is going to be a great Diamond Sports weekend against Michigan State for both Oregon baseball and Oregon softball. Oregon track and field also in action in two different locations over the weekend. Going to be in Corvallis, in-state at the OSU High Performance Meet, and also down in Arizona at the Desert Heat Classic for Oregon track and field. And again, for Diamond Sports, today, Joey Mack on the radio in 45 minutes from now with the pregame show. Also, we'll have first pitch coming up at 3 o'clock from East Lansing, Michigan. Oregon softball will be at the Jane all weekend long, 6 o'clock tonight, 2 o'clock tomorrow, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday for Senior Day at the Jane. It's a special group, Coach Lombardi's group. Last chance to see them in the regular season at the Jane. Make sure to show out and help secure Oregon a Big Ten regular season title. I'll be back with you on Monday with some wins. Bye, everybody. Go Ducks.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that.
Yeah, no problem. You have a good weekend.
A to B, I need you to stay please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted.